Blizzard is facing criticism after suspending a Hearthstone player for his political comments. A man has spent $62,000 on the free-to-play game RuneScape. Fortnite revenue has plummeted 52% year over year. And 343 Industries has hired a pug to make alien noises and snorts for Halo Infinite. But first, should you switch from console to PC? This is Arcadian Insight. All right, welcome to episode number 33 of Arcadian Insight. Today we have a very, very special guest before we get started. It's V Phantom. Nick, you're the first guest to come back for a repeat episode, man. I think the last time you were here was episode maybe 18?
Yeah, probably.
18, maybe 19. But thanks so much, man. We really appreciate it.
It feels great to be back. I loved it when I found your guys' podcast. I listened to a lot of episodes. This is a really good podcast that talks about just games. And I like the opinion segments. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you so much. We love your stuff too. Why don't you just let the viewers know like what you're working on YouTube, just like what some of your channels are and your Twitter handle, stuff like that.
All right. Well, my channel, it is literally the best funny moments you can find on YouTube. It's hilarious. You can find it at youtube.com/vphantom. And you really, you just feel like you get that spice when you see my videos. You know what I mean?
I totally get it, man.
A lot of spice.
Exactly.
Oh, and just if you're watching on YouTube, Nick is doing a face reveal later for his channel, so he didn't want to be shown for this. So we are just putting up his logo. No V Phantom face reveal yet. You have to wait for that till later.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, viewers. I'm very sorry, but it will come.
Hype.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. What is the mark? What is the mark, Nick? Have you decided like when you're gonna do that?
Well, I actually really want to do it soon. But I feel like I should wait for like an actual milestone, not like, oh my god, 1263 face reveal.
Yeah, if you wouldn't have hit 1,000 already, I guess you could have done that, but you kind of blew right past that. So
I am surprised. I'm shocked. Like,
yeah, it's tough to do, but good job, man. Kudos to you.
Yeah, it is. I'm surprised, but thank you. And you guys are growing too, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just
leaps and bounds.
We can't slow the growth down, Nick. I mean it's. But anyway, all jokes aside, let's jump into today's episode with the main topic, which is should you switch from console to PC? So, I thought this would be just a great way to discuss. I think what we all love about PC. We all made the switch at some point in our lives, some sooner rather than later. But we all, have had a lot of consoles too, I think, throughout our lifetimes. And I think consoles have a special place in my heart, even though I do love playing on PC. But Nick, I kind of wanted to start with you here just because you just switched about 3 months ago or so. I don't know if that's absolutely correct, but why don't you just talk about, like, I guess what that process was like, if it was like overwhelming at all or just how that went and, what made you want to switch in the first place?
Yeah, it has been super overwhelming because when you first get into it, there's so many different things. But I have to say, it is so worth it. I always wanted a PC to be able to see actual, like, the best graphics and awesome Steam sales, because, like, on Xbox, most of the games are $60. Sometimes there's a sale. But on Steam, there's literally sales all the time. So it's fantastic. In VR, straight up VR.
Yeah, I remember you were really big on the VR whenever you switched.
Oh yeah, I got a Valve Index. I went all in. If I had to choose a downside to PC, two of them, it would be complexity and probably pricing. It's really expensive.
Yeah,
you can do it cheap.
It is expensive if you want something that lasts a long time and is going to stay like on top of, I think, mainly like a graphical quality for years in the future. But I'm sure Adam, Josh, you guys can probably speak to that better than I can. But I guess let's just start the conversation here and just talk about like what we think the advantages of PC really is. Like what are the things that make switching to PC worth that extra cost?
I like what V Phantom brought up first there with the the Steam sale. I think that's like really exciting. I remember right before I switched to PC, like first hearing about Steam, and you would look at that library of games that you have access to there, you know, at the end of your fingertips, literally, and like 80-90% off, like amazing titles that, and it happens so frequently too. There's like, the 4 seasonal sales. I'm sure they throw in like a couple of the holiday ones in there as well on top of it. Like, those are really, really fun times. And they last, like 10 days, like to 2 weeks at a time. I think they used to be better, honestly. You kind of missed the wave there, V Phantom, when they used to do the like the daily sales were on certain games would be like greater discounted as opposed to like the rest of the week. So you would kind of like camp out every day, like looking for the game that you wanted to get. Like, oh man, like I hope Skyrim goes from like 60% to like 80% off or something like that. Those were really fun times. I kind of miss that about Steam since they don't do it anymore, but
yeah, there was those flash sales like 1 or 2 hours long, and that's when
Mhm.
you would really get the big savings, big time. And it was like you had to have the app on your phone. It was like I need to be able to see it.
a lot of bathroom breaks going to check the Steam flash update. What was on sale that hour? Every 2 hours, yeah. It was. I gotta step out for a minute. Sorry, guys.
Okay, well now you even have, and I not to plug Epic again. I do it every week. Like I'll get shit on again by everybody, but it's like they're giving away 2 free indie games like every month now, and they're really good games. I've picked up like Inside, Celeste, Limbo. What was another one I got? I can't think of the name right now, but like those are some of the best indie games to come out in the past decade, and I literally just picked them up for free. Like, are you kidding me? It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
If you have Twitch Prime, you get a lot of good stuff too. Like you could have got, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, you could have got all of the Batman games for free, all of them.
Oh my!
Wow.
I didn't know that. Why didn't you tell me?
Damn.
I'm just kidding.
Well, did
I'm
you
just
guys
kidding.
did you guys see what you can get? I think it's for free right now. Really popular, greatly reviewed Steam game called Adam Wolf. I think you're like
is that free?
I think it's free with Twitch Prime.
Okay,
It's,
I saw
you're a supernatural detective in San Francisco. Probably want to check that one out for free.
Before we get too far away from it, and just to piggyback off the first point to start when we started talking was, you wanted, you said, yeah, it's pricey, but at the same time, you're not buying a console every 4 or 5 years. Not even that nowadays. It's more like 2 or 3 years probably. But if you want to upgrade, you just upgrade, and just put it right in there. You don't have to buy a whole new system. You're not losing games. There's not this fight over backwards compatibility all the time. And yeah, you can say that like, well, if you want to go with a 2080 Ti or something, you're spending $1,500 on it. Like that's a big chunk of change. But look at PS5 now. They're saying it's going to be anywhere from $800 to $1,000.
Ooh.
$800 to $1,000 or something like that. Rumorville. But what's the big price point difference there? You're going to buy that console and then you got to go buy all the games for it.
Right. Well, then you compare, right? I mean, V Phantom's right. That initial upfront cost for the PC is definitely hard to stomach for, I think, a lot of people. That's probably the biggest barrier to entry. But like you just said, like we just talked about, the Steam sale, the games are just so much cheaper, 9 times out of 10. I mean, you're buying every AAA game on console for $60, right? I mean, and they generally don't go on sale for quite a long time, after that. After the release.
Just to go on to Josh's point, like the upgradable storage that you have on the PC is just so nice. You can just have terabytes upon terabytes of external or internal storage. It's just really nice. Oh, like you're running out of space? Okay, I'll spend $60 and get like another 2 terabyte hard drive. Done. Like
I saw M.2 M.2 SSD drives right now. 1 terabyte is less than $100.
Oh my,
yeah,
that's a great deal.
They're in free fall right now. It's a great time to buy. But I mean, you can do something similar on consoles. I mean, you can buy. I've seen people throw in a solid state drive into the modern consoles. You can obviously use the external hard drive on a modern console, and that works as well. But for convenience sake, I think it probably is a little bit, maybe slightly more convenient with a PC setup. If you're going to compare the two head to head.
Yeah, so I guess like long-term investment, you're looking at PC as the winner there, but definitely forking it out up front, like you said.
Well, and
for
like
sure.
for a PC too, like it's not you can do more than just play games on it too, right? Like
Yeah.
you could fucking run your company's QuickBooks on it, or you know what I mean, create content, or a
Now you're talking my
million
language.
I'm just saying, like a PC is versatile. It's not like you can only play games on it. Like a console, you're pretty much only playing games. I guess you can like use it to watch TV or whatever, but like a PC, you can literally do any number of things beyond gaming.
I mean,
Like, it's versatile in many ways.
there are like certain reports for work, Excel reports that I can't run on my MacBook Pro because they're too big.
Yeah, right.
Like data sets that I get out of clients, like systems and stuff. I literally can't run them. My computer freezes, and I have to run them on PC.
Wow.
So like, thank God I have this. Yeah, I like couldn't do my work sometimes,
Right.
but yeah, you're
I'm just
absolutely right.
saying
You
that,
get, you
like,
get the
there's
best
more than
gaming.
gaming.
Well, you get
Right.
the best gaming system and the best computer that money can buy, like all in one.
Right.
So
So before
Exactly.
we get a VFan, you used to. I know you used to edit. Maybe you still do edit on. Was it the PlayStation?
Oh yeah. Oh God, no. I don't want to ever.
Okay, so did you switch over and start editing on your PC now?
Oh yeah, you can definitely see a clear difference.
Okay.
In my videos into August, you can see where I made it on my PS4 and it's like 1020 HD, and then the next video I post, it's so much better. Editing on PC is the only way to go. There are ways not to, but why would you go through that torture?
Mhm.
You know?
Are
Did
you
you have
using
any
a
trouble-
capture card? Sorry, mate.
no, you're fine.
So are you using a capture card like an Acer Media or Elgato or something, or are you just
I've
how
just
you
been
doing?
using OBS, and if I try and record on console, I just use literally just a flash drive because I think both consoles have DVR now, so you don't really need a capture card anymore.
Mhm.
They're still useful though. You can do a lot with a capture card, but
I guess that's more of a streaming thing. Like if you wanted to stream off, like use the power of another rig, you'd use it. You could really take advantage of having a capture card because you're not taking away resources from what you're playing on.
oh yeah,
Is essentially
definitely.
what those are for. But
What did the first build look like, Nick? Did you screw it up at all? Like, did you try turning it on and testing it and it didn't work at all, or did you hit it first try?
I got so lucky. I swear. When I finished building it, I set it up in my room. I plugged everything in and I set it all up. I got on my knees and I prayed. I was like, please just start on the first try, please. And it did. It lit up.
Wow,
Oh, it was beautiful. It's
that's
such a
awesome.
feeling.
There's no worse feeling when you hook up your old computer and you hit power and it's like,
And yeah, it's like I don't.
what the fuck did I do?
Oh,
I'd
there's
say
so
that's
many
probably
parts.
a con for the PC, right? I mean, I can't remember a time I brought a console home and it just didn't work when I took it out of the box. Or spent like
Yeah.
20 hours. I didn't have to spend 20 hours putting it together or whatever else. It doesn't take
Mhm.
20 hours to put a PC together. I'm exaggerating, but
Yeah, when you're putting your PC together and you're eating an orange airhead and you drool all over the motherboard as you're putting it together.
Hey, it fired right up.
Yeah, you were just lubricating the circuits a little bit.
Yeah, it's not my first rodeo, bro.
Right.
advanced tech there.
Oh man.
to give console another point too is like what Adam's saying. You know, you don't come home with a console that doesn't work unless it's just bricked. But
Yeah.
there are a lot of ports to PC that are straight garbage, and even like new games, like when Apex Legends came out, and
my.
it was all cross. You know, it was such a big deal. Like I don't have a piece of garbage computer, and my computer couldn't play it at all. Didn't run. Black Ops 4 was another one. Couldn't play it. Connectivity issues. That there's just stuff that just doesn't translate over to PC as well. And it just seems like there are a lot of games that are pretty much specifically designed for console. You know, I know, like we just said, Batman was another game that they literally took off the market because it was so bad. You know, Mortal Kombat. There's a whole list of games that just work far better on. They may not look as nice, but they just work, and that's the key word there. It's like you don't have to, you turn the game on and you play it.
Mm-hmm. To play devil's advocate to you there, I mean, there is a lot of that. I can remember in a lot of instances where I bought a game and like I think we even just tried like LA Noire. That would be one in specific that works really well on console, and we got the PC port and couldn't even fire it up. But
yeah, it did go great.
The PC community, I think they have a lot. Not only are there a lot of people, but there are a lot of people that are really working hard to make compatibility patches and things like that, like third-party stuff. That's a whole nother area where I think PC really excels over like console, just because I don't think people that play consoles really have that option to go in and make their own patch for a game to make sure it runs correctly, that kind of thing, which is unfortunate. Maybe we'll see that with like PS5.
Plus on top
Not all
of that,
heroes wear capes.
Plus on top of that, you just get the mods. And that alone is like enough enjoyment that makes PC worth it.
Well, V, you're the most recent console player, right? I mean, there was mods on certain games on console, right?
The only time I ever saw mods was on Bethesda games, because they set up their little mod menu. Then they tried to cash in on Creation Club. Didn't work out so well.
Oh, I remember that.
Well, I think what Matt's more talking about is like Gary's mod stuff. Like you just get one of the first games I played on my computer was Hidden Source Beta, and it was a Half-Life mod. And I I saw the Scene Anners video. I was like, I have to play that. And it was like the first, and that wasn't even a real game. It was free. So I think outside of the Bethesda, Fallout, Skyrim mod thing, like there's just, if you buy and download Gary's mod, like look at the library you get just from purchasing that game, like tons. Like you could spend a year playing different games on Gary's mod. And one of the other things was a big driver in me getting a PC was Arma and playing the original DayZ. And that was another free mod that you could play. I mean, you had to buy Arma, but you get Arma, you get a whole list of games.
Right, there's a lot of that, and I think it breeds a lot of creativity. I mean, look at a game like Warcraft 3, where it actually bred an entire new genre of video gaming that, Dota, or the MOBA game that is kind of dominating esports right now, it feels like, or it takes a big share of it at least.
Wasn't Auto Chess a mod at first too for Dota? I think it was.
I don't know the history on that. I tried looking it up one day.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
I think it was a mod, and then Dota made Underlords, and then League made TFT.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. 2 whole genres.
I think just like as a TLDR, like console, I would say is more like it's like simpler. You know what I mean? Like there's not as much like knowledge. You can just plug in a console and play it, and like it's more like user friendly, I would say. But a PC has more like endless boundaries. Like you can do anything to any, like, you know what I mean? You could play like crazy high graphics or shit graphics. There's just, the bounds are endless. It's more complex too, because there's so many, you know what I mean? Everybody can build a different PC with different parts, but it's more complex, but like your opportunities to do things are a lot greater on PC. Whereas console, it's like more narrow. You know what I mean? There's not, the spectrum of things isn't as great, but it's simpler and it's easier for people to understand that don't want to like put the time into it or whatever to learn. That's my like summary.
Well, let's talk about, I guess, just some of the advantages of console. And the first one that comes to my mind is obviously exclusivity. So you have games like games from recent memory that I've really wanted to play and I couldn't, like Persona 5, God of War.
You can now.
Oh, what's that coming to?
A PC.
Is it coming now? Okay.
I believe so. It's coming out soon.
That's actually really good news,
awesome.
because I really want to play that. Kingdom Hearts 3 is another one. I couldn't play that. What's that other PlayStation one with the girl that's like running around with the bow?
Last Tomb Raider?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
With the robot, like ants and stuff.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn, that looks great. But I mean, PC has exclusives too, I guess. Like, you can't play a lot of MOBAs on console, like League or whatever. And those are some of my favorite games too, so.
Well, not to take another dump on console here, but it seems like every year people are breaking and coming up with emulators for that kind of stuff. So, I mean, like you can already play Xbox 360, PS3 games on your PC. I mean, obviously they're not. You're gonna jump through hoops and have to know some. I mean, it's nothing that a YouTube video can't help you do, but it to give it back to console, you could just turn it on and play it. You know, especially if you still have those consoles.
Yeah, when you say it like that, I'm surprised they're getting away from that backwards compatibility. You would think that would be one of the biggest selling points on consoles, and I feel like that, like it at times, like it seems like it's like coming up again, like everybody's doing it, and then other times they're like dialing it back, and you can't play anything for previous console. I don't understand that.
They're trying to get started with that right now. Like, actually, one of the big marketing points for Xbox right now is backwards compatibility. They're telling everyone it's going to come out on the new Xbox whenever that comes out next year or the year after that. But they're putting a lot of emphasis and focus on that because they really messed up with the first Xbox One. So.
Yeah, it seems to me like the consoles are starting to realize that they can't beat PC. Just like from what I'm seeing people building, like it's weird to me that PS5 is like trying to go more up market because they would directly compete with more of like that PC market. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but like we've seen Nintendo completely move away from anything that even remotely looks like a PC or a console platform. Like the Switch is just completely different from everything else. It's very unique. And the Xbox, maybe that compatibility is they're trying to say like, okay, we know that people can play everything on PC. We need to give people more games to keep them like playing console because like I'm sure they're losing. I could be wrong, but I bet that more people switch to PC every year than people go to console. I would think that looks like that isn't like a 50-50 split.
How many people you think were playing console and jumped on their computers just to play WoW?
Probably
Classic
a lot.
when it came out.
Probably a lot.
Probably a few, yeah.
But I mean, like what you're saying, Matt, is like if PS3 is gonna or 5, sorry, is gonna jump up that price there. Why would you want to compete with a market like PC? Like it's way too universal. I feel like
That's what
that's
I'm
just like an
having
uphill
trouble.
battle.
I'm having trouble grasping that. I don't know.
To say, you know, and when those articles came out, you know, and obviously it's clickbait crap, but they're saying like, oh, it's the PC killer, you know, what umpteen teraflops of power, and it's like nobody uses teraflops as an, you know, nobody uses that in the gaming field. It's like, oh yeah, I get this many frames, you know, and they're trying to push 8K now, and it's like, okay, hold on, PCs can't even do 60 FPS at 8K. You know, most budget PCs can't even do that. So you're telling me that I'm going to pay $1,000 for upscale or checkerboard 8K, but at the same time I have to go spend $4,000 or $5,000 on a TV that can even do that. You know,
Right.
when you could, you know, 4K is not even figured out yet. I feel like, I mean, I'm getting off the rails here, but to go back on Mac's point is like, I feel like they're getting ahead of themselves in terms of like marketing these consoles. Like just make the console and make it for console people, you know, just get 60 FPS on every game you have on the console before you go and try and make an 8K game, you know.
I like what Matt said there about, you know, what are they trying to like market, or why, you know, why are they trying to compete against the PC? And I think that one of the biggest pros for consoles is like comfort, you know, obviously ease of use, but in another regard, just where you can play it. I think you know, I've tried like the Steam Link to my TV in the other room with the controller and stuff. It just doesn't feel, that doesn't even feel the same as just sitting down on the couch playing a console game. When you look at something like the Switch, I mean, you can literally play it anywhere, however you want to. I mean, that's like the ultimate in comfort. I think that's, you know, kind of what gaming should kind of gear themselves toward. Maybe that's why I don't think we want to loop like mobile into this as well. But I mean, you look at mobile, and that's probably why there's a lot of success there, is that, you know, ease of access, you know, comfort, where you can play it, how you can play it, kind of thing.
I really enjoy the Switch. It's probably my favorite console of the big three. I'd give it to Switch all day.
Me too. I think just thinking about this conversation, like, do you think that consoles like we know them, not like the Switch, but like the PS4 or like the Xbox One and like the new versions of those, do you think that they'll be around in like 10 to 20 more years? Like, it seems like PC kind of dominates them. And I think that more people probably are moving to PC than sticking with console nowadays. I really do believe that. Then you have the Switch, like the handheld and the mobile stuff. That's already huge. That's only going to grow. And then you have the services like Stadia, where like you can just play that from like fucking wherever you want. So like, who still needs just like an Xbox One down the road? Like, as PC parts get cheaper, as it probably gets easier to build, I would think. Just as like more people are doing it, like it's just going to become easier and easier. It's going to be cheaper because the advancements aren't going to be as much all the time. I would think that like the tech is catching up to itself. I don't know. That's just like how I kind of see the market going.
Has anybody ever, like, maybe you, Wolf, you said you messed around with Steam Link, but didn't Alienware come out with like the living room PC? Wasn't that like the term they used?
Yeah.
I would think that would be like the transition to what Matt's talking about. But that didn't take off at all. That was just like dead on arrival there.
Right. Well, I mean, unless you have a laptop, and gaming laptops are popular where you can kind of take it around, but those are pretty damn, heavy, cumbersome, hot, and not,
And expensive too, because need the parts have to be smaller.
There you go.
So that's
well, I guess my point is like Stadia is like something like Stadia is going to work eventually, and when it does, like, why would you need a console? I guess is my point.
I guess exclusivity. We go back to that exclusivity word.
I guess.
Honestly, I think one of the big things with consoles is, obviously we talked about being simple and everything, but as far as like, you can't really play your computer. Like, I can't be like, hey dude, come over, we're gonna play my computer together.
That's true. I mean? That's
like,
true.
Whereas like if your friends are like, oh, we're gonna play a game of Madden, you hook up the TV and plug in 2 controllers and you can play Madden.
Well, we wouldn't be playing Madden, but I get your point.
I just fucking picked a game. But I'm just saying, like, from that, like, from like a like actually interacting like in person with people, you can't really do it unless like you're not gonna haul your fucking rig over to my house and set it up next to me. I mean, you could.
You got a spare desk.
But, yeah, but I'm saying, like, that's one of my points. Like, people, especially like in college and shit, like everybody's in a dorm. They're like, oh, bro, like come over and play zombies on my console. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to think of things.
No, we did that all the time.
That keep it alive.
Every day we did that. Yeah.
And like computer, like on my PC, it's not like, here we can share my fucking keyboard and we can play each other. You know what I mean? It's like a little harder to do shit like that.
Yeah, sure.
What about? I mean, I was never hauling my computer over for LAN parties. Halo 2 parties, Halo parties back in the day. That was.
People still do that though, do you think? I mean, what's the point with the internet now?
Absolutely.
They do?
I still do it. If I'm going over, like if I'm making a trip back home, I'll take my Xbox and I'll even bring like a tiny TV and I'll hook it up. Everyone still does that. I think the biggest difference between like console and PC is if you're not a gamer and you're getting into gaming, you got to do it. You don't have to do it young, but you should, and you should go with a console. I feel like when you're growing up, a console is the best way to get into gaming. And if you're still gaming throughout your 20s, that's when you should switch to PC, because they really are two different beasts. Like, I still play my Xbox and I play my PC. For single player games, I play on my PC. When it comes to me and my friends, I do prefer the Xbox because it's easier to just hop in, join the party, and get everyone going. Like, the PC is amazing and all, but I still feel like consoles have a lot of value that you can usually only see when you're younger. Yeah, I don't know why. It just
I actually
that way.
I completely agree with that. I think the only thing, like I was saying, I just think that an online service like Stadia, I just think it eventually eliminates the need for a console. Like, Stadia doesn't eliminate PC.
No, not
at all. They're not direct competitors really, but it does directly compete with consoles. And if you don't need the hardware, it's like, well,
yeah. And I think it's like as mobile advances too, like phones are just gonna keep getting better and better, and like you're gonna be able to do all that shit right on your phone, and like it's, you know what I mean? It's just gonna be easier to have an expensive phone than to and be able to take it anywhere than have a you know what I mean? Like people are getting away from like
I think you're right.
The more mobile things are, the like that shit's always gonna grow because like the versatility and be able to do it anywhere, people are always gonna want that because it's easier.
We were in Japan and everybody was playing mobile games.
Yeah, and that's like the one downfall of the PC is like it's pretty like it has to be here. You know what I mean? Like you're not
Yeah.
like I can't fucking haul my desktop on the bus and hook it up and play it.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I would say that's
not in 2019 at least. No.
I would say that's one of the downfalls. I mean, not obviously like I love PC and everything, but that's definitely one of the downfalls is as society becomes like more mobile with everything, like doing shit on the go and being busy. I think as
Yep.
phones continue to advance and like the mobile technology gets better, that's going to be like the big to do.
Can
It's
we?
interesting. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. You go because I'm gonna kind of change the topic. So go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's kind of interesting and actually kind of excited that you said that because I feel like Nick, you're a little bit of like a generation behind us in terms of gaming.
Yeah.
We're a bit older than you, but there was a time when we didn't have online, so you were bringing your N64 to people's houses, you were bringing your PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 had it a little bit, but
Yep.
even in high school, it was like, I'm going to my buddy's house, even if we had online, just from like being able to do that as kids and enjoying that, like just the camaraderie and the couch co-op and all that stuff. It's cool being able to sit next to your friend and play games together. And even when Halo 3 was out and you could play online, I was still taking my Xbox over to friends' houses and playing, and it's interesting with somebody who's, a little more delved into the, the internet and the, just being younger and, like I said, a generation behind us in terms of games, that you still do that and enjoy that. I think it's just like kind of a thing that gamers of any generation share, is being able to play with your friend next to them.
Yeah. Do you remember going over and like they'd have like 4 or 8 controllers, hooked up, like depending on how many consoles you had, and like you'd get like the Mad Catz one or whatever. It was like the off-brand, and you'd be like, "Holy fuck! I can't believe I gotta play with this piece of shit."
Yeah, like why'd you even buy it? Like your
Yeah.
parents
Light
don't
up,
love you if
dude.
they bought that for you.
But 2 things there. You remember the brick you could get for PlayStation that let you add like another 4 controllers? Like you had to spend money on that.
Yep.
And then when Xbox, the other thing is when Xbox came out, I remember taking my shit over to friends' houses, and why Microsoft did this, I have no idea. But they had a little tiny connection that went from the controller cord to the Xbox. And I guess it was just to keep you from damaging the console when you yanked your controller. But you'd bring you'd bring your controller to a friend's house and you'd be like, fuck, I forgot that little 3-inch damn cord. I
Yeah.
can't plug it into the consoles. Like, God damn it. Yeah.
I forgot about it. You know what? At least, do you remember, the original PlayStation only had like the 2 ports, and I think I guess Super Nintendo did it. No, it had 2 as well, right?
I think Super Nintendo
Did it
and
have
then
4?
N64 had 4. I
4,
believe.
okay. And then when the Xbox had 4, like I about shit my pants. It
Oh,
was like,
Super might have been 2.
I think it was
I can't remember.
2 or 3 or 4.
Is it a 2 or 4? Is it a 2 or 4?
But I
Can we
mean,
talk?
that's a
Can
big
we
deal.
just talk about controllers versus keyboard for a second? Because I feel like most PC people think that the mouse and keyboard is like a big advantage for PC. I can't stand it. Every game that I can play with an Xbox controller, I take full advantage of playing with it. I can't stand the keyboard and mouse, especially for a shooter.
It's like the thing with
Siege.
the mouse,
You're right.
like the precision is unmatched. That's why the mouse is so good, because the precision of a mouse is just you can't.
It's
What's more precise?
No, I know, but it's uncomfortable for me, and maybe
No,
because
I
I've
know.
always played with controller,
Yeah,
but it
no,
doesn't
I
like
agree.
feel
Yeah.
good to sit there like
Yeah,
that.
no, I agree. Especially like for me, like if I'm playing a shooter, I want a controller because that's
Me too.
just. It's probably just because that's how I always played them, growing up. You know what I mean? I always had a
Yeah.
controller. So playing a shooter on like mouse and keyboard, I'm like, I'm like not even good at it because it just feels like awkward because I'm so used to like fiddling around with the fucking controller.
I think that to agree with you, Matt, is like if I was going to play a game like The Witcher or Skyrim, I'm just going to use a controller. Like I tried playing Fallout and Skyrim with the mouse and keyboard, and it was like, oh, what the? Yeah, why the hell would anybody want to do this?
It's not even a fun experience.
Mm-hmm.
Or like we played Castle Crashers. Like, why the hell would I play that on a keyboard? Or whatever. But it's funny you bring this up, and not to get too off the rails here. I know you want to move on, but with the Modern Warfare beta that came out, you were able to see who was playing on what with what. And it was really interesting to see how many people on PC were playing with a controller and how many people on console are using mouse and keyboard. And it was just cool to see because it shows you who's using what. And I know that some people were taking advantage of that and like switching, and there was this big debate over that when that happened. But it was just kind of like interesting. Yeah. It was just interesting to see, it's like, oh, we got the PC crowd in here, like going against some PlayStation players, or Xbox, and seeing them. Yeah, I don't know.
That's cool.
I was done.
No, that is cool. That is cool.
No, I agree with everything you just said. You want to play Skyrim with a controller. You're playing a good single player game. I recommend using that Xbox controller. It's convenient. You just plug it in and you can go. But if you're playing something competitive, you should probably try use keyboard and mouse because it is technically more accurate and stuff. I think it's harder to learn though, but the controller is just so much more comfortable.
Yeah, I just want to lean back, enjoy myself.
For a long gaming session, you gotta plug that controller in. There's no way that mouse and keyboard is just, it's brutal.
You think that had a lot to do with you enjoying the Outer Wilds, Matt? Said it was so controller incentivized.
Yeah, maybe. I play almost every game with a controller though, so I'm not sure.
I mean, I remember sitting there, you watching me play it, and you're like, "Dude, use the keyboard or use the controller." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm using the mouse and keyboard."
Well, yeah, it's supposed to be.
And then you're like, the game's literally sitting there telling me, like, pick up the controller.
Please use the controller. Please use the controller. No, because I don't play any games with keyboard and mouse except for MOBAs. Like I bought Oblivion, and it doesn't have controller support, and I just didn't play it. That's like if it has a keyboard and mouse only, I just does not get played in my library. So,
did you play the Halo 3 mod that we downloaded not too long ago?
Yeah,
like you, Chimp, and I.
Yeah,
did you use the controller for that?
I did. Yep. Yeah, what was that called? It was like
I don't even remember. They shut it down though.
Anyway, I guess just to talk about consoles, like what was your favorite console, or like favorite set of games for a console that you had?
N64, hands down.
That's mine too. Yeah, it's easy.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, N64 was broke.
Yeah,
I hated the N64 controller though.
Me too.
Oh well,
it's the worst controller ever.
That's fair.
I mean, come
PlayStation
on,
2.
Like GoldenEye,
PS2, man.
Yeah, PS2 was good.
It's an amazing console. I mean, RPG wise, I mean, I don't think anybody will ever touch that. Sports games, I mean, obviously they were on multiple consoles, but PS2, that's a fantastic one.
Oh yeah.
I went from N64 to Xbox, so I totally missed the whole PlayStation thing. Only at friends' house was I able to experience like Metal Gear Solid and other stuff like that.
Listen to that. I had Sega Genesis instead of Super Nintendo. I had
Genesis.
I did have the PS1, which was fine, and then I went from PS1 to Dreamcast and missed the PS2. And then during the PS2's lifespan, I went to Xbox. I had Halo, but then I had nothing else after that. And then I was like done with consoles. That was it.
I did great. I went from Sega Genesis to N64 to PS2 to 360. I feel like I really nailed it.
You did.
PlayStation 1.
It didn't need it.
It was a good one, but it wasn't a must-have. N64 was probably had the better like top-end titles than the PS1.
Yeah, you needed Banjo-Kazooie. Right? That was a must. You needed Mario 64, you needed Mario Kart 64, and you needed Super Smash and Ocarina of Time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was too many.
Mario Party.
Thank you. Yeah.
Pokemon Stadium.
Pokemon Snap.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
I could go all day. I could go.
Yeah, I really could. Yeah, Jet Force Gemini.
I was always pretty jealous of my buddies with PlayStation because they had Crash Bandicoot and like Jack and Daxter and
yeah.
Ratchet and Clank. I never got onto those.
Ooh, yeah, good games. Good games.
I didn't like Crash Bandicoot that much. I mean, I had quite a bit of those games, but yeah, it was just like a weird platformer for the time. It just didn't handle very well, like the 3D kind of. I don't know, with the D-pad just didn't feel great.
You want to throw it back, and all consoles had this. Tell me you guys didn't play the living shit out of Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Oh,
Didn't
woo,
touch it.
damn.
Never played it.
I know me
Blitz.
and you played it, yeah. Those are good games.
That's a shame, man. You need to.
You have to
You
pick it
tough
up. I'll have to emulate it, I guess.
I think that was more of like a arcade game though, right? Like a cabinet game.
Yeah, it
Wasn't
started
Gauntlet
out
like
there.
big time. Oh, I don't want to get started there, but Battletoads was fucking
Oh
legit.
fuck yeah, yeah. I remember going to the Eagle's Nest shop, or no, was it the Giant Eagle and all that stuff? Playing PlayStation had Spyro, and I always liked playing that.
I love Spyro. Yeah, Ripto's Rage. That was a great game. That's a great game.
Okay, a little off topic. You said Giant Eagle or something. Do you remember when the grocery stores used to have the little like video game like play areas that your parents would throw you in when they went grocery shopping?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
the Eagle's Nest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
was
was
what, is that
that,
what it was?
Shop and Save had Kids Corner.
Yeah, that's
The Franceskis aren't big on Shop and Save. We were all about Giant Eagle.
Yes, burgers over there.
they don't. I haven't seen
Yinzers.
that. I haven't seen that in years. Do they? They don't do that anymore, do they?
No, they used to have Eagle Video too.
Yeah,
Eagle.
huh?
Mhm.
Eagle. That's how you know he's from Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
It was Eagle Video.
Eagle.
Eagle.
Video.
Eagle.
Take me to the
IGG.
trending news.
Yeah.
Take me. I want it so bad. I want the first trending news so bad.
All right. Does anybody have any other points they want to make on consoles or PC before we move down? Okay.
Switch.
Master Race.
Oh, Switch, yeah, man.
All right, so first story. Blizzard is facing criticism after suspending a Hearthstone player for his political comments. The player, Blitz Chung, who is a Hong Kong native, wore a gas mask during a Blizzard stream and signed off by saying, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age." Right after he said this, both commentators ducked behind their desk and immediately closed out of the stream completely. Blizzard responded by suspending Blitz Chung for a year and taking away his prize money for the tournament. Now, in the Blizzard contract, this is what it says. Engaging in any act that, in Blizzard's sole discretion, brings you into public disrepute, offends a portion or group of the public, or otherwise damages Blizzard's image will result in removal from Grandmasters and reduction of the player's prize total to $0 USD, in addition to other remedies which may be provided for under the handbook and Blizzard's website terms. So Blizzard's gotten a lot of public heat from the suspension and taking away the prize money from Blitz Chung. I think just the climate around Hong Kong and everything that's happening right now is just really heated. People have really strong opinions about it. But I guess let's just start the conversation here and how you guys feel about what Blizzard did and whether or not they're in the right or.
I think they had every right to do that. Sorry, Matt. I didn't know you weren't done there.
Yeah, but when I talk, I'm gonna ramble on for like a long time. So I don't know if you want me to just
Waiting for
go.
you.
Go ahead.
This is like after this.
You've been
one,
chomping at the bit, huh? You've been really chomping
Yeah.
at the bit for this.
Yeah, I'll fucking like close my camera and not even talk the rest of the show. Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep this like in line without like flying all over the place, but I have lots of thoughts about it.
Okay.
So I think from a strictly like legal perspective or like code of conduct perspective, right? Blizzard has every right to do what they did. It's in, you know what I mean? Like you're putting something political on their stream that they want, you know what I mean? They only want games and like they set the rules. If they don't want you to do things, I understand that. And I think from like a legal and like conduct perspective, they did what they did and it's fine because those are the rules they've written. So by those rules and standards, it's fine. But from like a moral perspective, what they did is very wrong, and that's all that people care about. Because like I looked at Reddit today. Reddit is a complete shit show. Like the Hearthstone subreddit, every fucking post on the whole fucking front page is I'm canceling my Blizzard subscription. I've played Hearthstone since 1992. I'm never playing it again. All this shit. Like everybody's freaking out. I'm canceling my pre-orders for Warcraft Reforged. I'm canceling this, I'm canceling that, yada yada yada. Which, I mean, I think part of that there obviously there will be people that cancel their shit or whatever, but part of it is people just want like attention. You know, people are just gonna say I'm canceling. Everybody's gonna upvote it because Blizzard's a big bad corporation. Fine, whatever. But as far what's really strange to me is like Blizzard is more of like a liberal organization. Like they're pretty like into like in the environmental stuff and like making sure people have rights and great lives. You know, everything's like happy, fuzzy, peachy over there. So it's very strange to me that people that are literally fighting for democracy, that they are like, oh, shut the fuck up, you can't do that. Like, which literally goes against like their core values. Like literally, like if you read their like core values or ethics or whatever, that like what they did literally goes against like their core beliefs at the firm. And it's for me, it's just really, I mean, okay, let's be honest. We know why they did it. China is a huge market, huge fucking market, huge growing market that's largely untapped. Like there's a lot of, you know what I mean? There's a lot of potential there to grow revenues, blah, blah, blah. The only reason they did what they did is because the Chinese government is in complete control of economic interests in China. And if they don't like, if you put out information against them or against what they believe, they're going to tell you, okay, look, you're not selling this product here. We're not going to allow for it because you know what I mean? You're making us look bad. Whereas like in America, you can do whatever the fuck you want because freedom of speech, yada, yada, yada. But over there, like Blizzard's not going to be like, oh yeah, we support Hong Kong. And then China can be like, okay, well, you're not selling your product here anymore and you're losing out on this giant revenue stream. So they're never gonna give up a revenue stream for any reason. They're just not gonna do it. But the backlash that's coming from it could, unless if the backlash actually like people actually cancel subscription and it like hits their bottom line, then we'll see where that goes. But that's just kind of my general thoughts. I just got it's been like very wild today. Just everything on Reddit is just like blowing up about it. Like anything gaming, like gaming subreddit, Hearthstone, all the Blizzard games. The Blizzard subreddit got locked. They locked it. Like you couldn't post on it because of all the people just like freaking out about, you know, taking away the dude's prize money. And they also like eliminated him from the Grand Masters, like at BlizzCon or whatever. They like he can't go to that anymore or anything. But yeah,
Yeah.
all this
like
affect-
everybody else can jump in.
Well,
like it affected Borderlands 3 and Call of Duty. You know,
well,
Right.
I think I mean I agree with a lot of what you said, Dave. I think that people are having trouble separating the message from the code of conduct, right? Like,
Sure.
I'm my big question that I've been wondering pretty much all day is if this statement would have been about something else, not Hong Kong, right? It's about I don't know, another country that it's not such a hot topic issue, or it's about the environment and like climate change, or some kind of like social activist thing in the U.S., right? Is the punishment the same? Does Blizzard do the same thing?
Nope.
I don't know because it didn't happen, but like that's where I'm having trouble, like, because like I don't think Blizzard's making a statement about Hong Kong. Um, they're just following the code of conduct, and I
Right,
think that
'cause they
people are
don't-
having
yeah, 'cause
trouble.
they-
Well, they're not able to differentiate, right? They just see,
Sure.
okay, he said something about Hong Kong, Blizzard penalized him, so they must be in favor of the Chinese government. And I don't know that that's really a correlation that you could jump to. I think they do want to make a lot of money. I'm sure that there's incentive there, but it doesn't mean that they like technically support the other side.
No. I don't
Of
think.
not free. Well, I think that's what people are tying together.
Yeah, I don't think any rational person thinks that Blizzard actually supports. They don't actually support like people in China, like, you know, being suppressed or like not wanting them to have democracy. They're just protecting their financial interests. And by doing that, it makes them seem like a bad guy. But I don't, just because you say, hey, you can't say that doesn't mean you don't support what they're doing. Like what's best for business and what's best for like morality and like PR isn't always the same thing, right?
Yeah, which is really difficult to toe there.
Yeah, right. It's a very fine line to walk.
Unfortunately, I think I'm with, Josh there, where, Blizzard is within their rights. There, obviously, it says so right in you know.
Yeah, right. No, sure, yeah.
But I feel like there should be a little bit of a separation there. I whether I agree or disagree with any political message, I'm against any kind of. I don't think protest, like political or any other way, belongs like in like sports or you know, or like mixing across the lines, because you're really not. That's not your own time. Like, you're on Blizzard's time there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that's
sure.
who's putting you in that position right there. Like, you need to play ball a little bit. Like, you're only there because like they exist. If you want to go out in your free time and protest this and that, like, that's fine. Like, you know, spread the word in your own way. But like, you're literally almost speaking on behalf of the company at that point. Like, you're promoting a message, and it, you know, that's, well, at least that's how the Chinese government's probably going to look at that. Like, if Blizzard doesn't go ahead and react to it in the most, obviously in this case, severe, you know, way possible, which is unfortunate. But that kid may be right, but I think you can't go about it that way.
I was also looking at it in the vein like, okay, so like they don't punish this kid, and he just gets to do whatever he wants with like the gas mask and stuff, like this whole ordeal. And then so like what is the message that sends for somebody who wants to do something 2 weeks later at the next Blizzard event, right? It's like,
Mhm.
okay, so he does something even more extreme, and then Blizzard punishes that person, but then like he's just gonna say, well, this guy just did this, like, how does that work? And then you have like a real legal issue on your hands because you're punishing some people, you're not punishing others, and then maybe you do have a political message because then you're picking and choosing what you support and what you don't support.
Sure.
And that's like the exact position that a public traded company does not want to be in. So you have to follow your code of conduct every single time that it comes up, or you kind of fuck yourself politically and socially.
Right. I think we're all in agreement that what they did is well within, like, it's fine what they did, like, based on like the roles and like the platform that they have and everything. Like, it's fine to say that you can't do that. But all I'm saying is, if you separate that out and you look at it from like a moral perspective, people are gonna fucking be pissed about it and take it at, you know what I mean? Just disregard the points you guys just made about why they did it and why they have to do it. And just go straight to like the morality. Like, you don't care about these people. You're suppressing their views. You don't support them. You're bowing to China. Blah 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 blah. And I think people have a very hard time like separating the two
Yeah, I think
things.
people have trouble. I hope I don't get shit for this, but I think that people have trouble putting themselves in the shoes of somebody who runs like a $50 billion company. And like why that code of conduct would be there. Like, think about how long that company took to build. Like, you're not gonna let like some kid come on stage and like say something stupid about some political message that you as a company know nothing about, you don't do anything with, and then all of a sudden you're gonna lose like billions of dollars over this. I mean, you're not gonna let it happen. Think about all the people that work there. I mean, they're not only protecting Blizzard, they're protecting the employees, they're protecting the brand,
Oh yeah,
they're
sure.
protecting all of the IP that they've ever created. I mean, like, they have a lot there, like a lot of sweat, blood, and tears that have gone into that product and that company that is not going to be ruined by a political statement from some kid from Hong Kong that wanted to say something on their stream.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it seems like more of a business strategy. And it, like you guys were saying, it's completely within their right to be able to do that because it was clearly there in the code of conduct. I think it sucks for both of them because the kid did just say one sentence, but he really should have done it on his own time instead of going through Blizzard to promote that message, because they are a company and they do have to work with the Chinese government to get their company out there and selling all their games and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm. I mean, this isn't
It's
the
real
first
rough.
time, right? That, I mean, a lot of video games make a lot of concessions to China. Like, was it like League of Legends? I know that like changed character artwork in the past, voice lines, things
That's the
like
big
that.
thing. Yeah, that's a big thing for a lot of games is they have, because they're not like the Chinese culture, like the skeletons are like
Right.
Well,
frowned upon, so like they cut
League's
out all
owned
that
by
shit.
League is owned by Tencent, so Riot's owned by Tencent, so
Yeah,
that
and
makes sense.
Tencent has a stake in Activision Blizzard too.
Oh, do
They
you know
don't-
what?
they-
Do you know how much?
Like 4.9% or something.
Oh,
So
it's
right around
a little bit
little,
smaller.
slightly less than 5%. Tencent has a stake in Blizzard,
Hmm.
Activision Blizzard.
I mean, yeah, you come back to that. Well, there you just said they have ownership in it. I'm sure they're going to be pushing
right.
like what we're going to do about this. I'm sure they have
Right.
some people that feel strongly about that on the board even. So it's an unfortunate, really unfortunate situation, I'd say.
Yeah, it is. I'm sure that Blizzard doesn't feel very good about the
No.
entire thing. I'm
Yeah,
sure they wish
because-
it did not happen. Yeah.
Because I think like regardless of your people's political opinions or anything, there are videos of like what's going on in Hong Kong on YouTube, and like it is kind of fucked up like
Mm-hmm.
what's happening to the people. Like there's definitely like an oppressive government force like overruling them on everything, and like there's videos that are it's very reminiscent of Tiananmen Square. I think is a very like a good comparison. So I mean, I understand why people like from like just from like a morality like personal perspective, like you're gonna be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like you're shutting. There's people that are suffering and want democracy, and you're like siding with the bad. It's because it looks like they're siding with the bad guys,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure that Blizzard would like to make a positive message about it or something, but at the same time, like, I'm sure everybody would. I'm sure that
Oh,
like
yeah.
almost
absolutely.
everybody is in favor of the people over there and the freedom, but it's like not at a card tournament.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
right,
just not the
sure.
place. It's
No,
like the
yeah,
last
absolutely.
place for it.
I mean,
But anyway,
yeah.
let's move on so we don't keep harping. But um, so a man has spent $62,000 on the free to play game RuneScape. I just want to reiterate again, this is a free to play game, no upfront cost. The company has reported that 33% of its revenues come from these microtransactions, while the other 2/3 come from an alternative subscription model. However, this third of revenue that does stem from microtransactions is made up entirely from just 10% of their player base. So these are like the whales of RuneScape, I guess. We talk about microtransactions and loot boxes a lot on this show. It's like one of the topics that we really hit on. I don't know. How do you feel about this? It seems almost unfathomable, doesn't it? $62,000 on a free to play game. When did this game even come out? RuneScape.
A long time ago.
18 years ago.
19 Tickety 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like that?
That's more than my college debt. $62,000.
Me too,
Jesus.
That's more than a lot of
God.
people's annual salaries. Like, oh my god, man. To each their own, I suppose, but it's like
No, like this guy didn't
Dude,
even have
you're
the
the
money.
problem.
It
Right.
put him and his family in like major debt. I was reading the story. Like it wasn't like it was just some rich kid that like had $10 million and just blew 62K on RuneScape. Like they didn't have the money, and like he just blew it anyway.
well, that's
Where
where
was
you
he
get and
from?
fall into this.
He was in
game.
the UK, Nick.
Tell me that anybody with any sense is going to do that unless they have a gambling problem or like an issue with money. Like that is obviously an issue that guy has. If he knew he didn't have the money and was still spending. like, there's a problem,
Yeah. He
you know?
could. I don't think you can be very mentally clear there and make those purchases. I mean, it's obviously at some point you have to recognize how much money you're spending, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd think. That's a lot of money. It's not like $10,000. That's $62,000.
Yeah,
There
man.
should be a cap or something. I mean, then again, I don't think RuneScape's going to put an own cap on their microtransactions, but 62,000, that is wow.
I guess I don't even really want to bring this up because the answer is going to be like no, and even the answer for me is going to be no. But it just begs the question, like, does a company have a responsibility to say like, hey, this guy's spent like 20 grand on loot boxes in the past 3 months? Like maybe we should like tell them not to spend any more money. I mean, I know it goes against their interests, but like at some point, like, is there a limit to where you say like, listen, like this isn't okay, like this isn't how we wanted to make money. We're cool with people spending money. We obviously want, like, we encourage them to, but 62K is a little bit much.
Yeah.
Like we're ruining lives here. I don't know.
The sentiment's
do you even
nice
do
there. But well, I mean, yeah. I don't know if you were gonna say how you're gonna. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Josh, but well, I mean, it's kind of like an invasion of, what do you do? Like look up the guy's address and go to his house, call him up. It's like kind of
I know.
deny his credit card or something.
That's why I said the answer would be no, and like obviously
Right.
I could fucking care either. But
I like it. I like it. Do they have a responsibility? Do I think they have a responsibility? Maybe they should.
I can get on with Matt. I mean, like, what is there some fucking RuneScape loan shark out there? Like, how did he get that amount of money? Like, how do you can't open that many credit cards? You have credit limits. You have overdraft fees in a bank account. How the fuck does this happen? Like Matt's saying, how does this happen? Like,
maybe if you trade in your Minecraft diamonds, there's like some kind of ratio there where
you're dust.
Christ.
Trade to the villagers.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying though? Like, what? That's what like there had to be some loan shark, like RuneScape loan shark guy. It's just like, yeah.
Or okay, I guess another question is like if somebody has a mental issue and they're like not okay, which obviously this person was not, like should they be allowed to, like, are you allowed to gamble, Dave, if you're like, a little bit
I don't see why not.
Apparently,
I guess you can, yeah.
Well, because like I mean that's like kind of like restricting your rights. Like you have the right to do it if it's like you have some kind of mental deficiency or disorder. Like you can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like a normal, like I don't know. For me, with that kind of shit, I always err on the side of like you make your own decisions. You're an autonomous human. You know the consequences of things. You know that if you spend 60 grand on a fucking game in a year, you're probably gonna fuck up your life. And if you're not capable of making those decisions on your own, then you're probably in some kind of care where you have some kind of guardian or legal, you know what I mean? Legal, whatever the fuck word you want to use. That's somebody that should be watching over you and be like, hey, listen, little Timmy, like you can't spend fucking 60 grand. You know what I mean? Like I'm all for like you got to learn from your mistakes. And if you have a mental illness where you're spending $60,000 and like ruining your life, I feel like it probably should have been diagnosed at some point, or like you should have some kind of like authority over you that protects
I
you.
agree. I side on individual liberty too, but the two times I don't is if it's a young kid,
Sure,
that doesn't know any better, and we've already talked about this. It's the
Right.
parents' responsibility. I agree, but like young
Yeah.
kids are really prone to this kind of shit. And then
sure.
if you have a mental instability where maybe you don't know what you're doing, or you have this very, very addictive personality or something, or like really strong depression where like you're spending all this money on these games, that's kind of a gray area for me. I think I need to think that out a little bit more to like find out where I do lie, but it just seems a little bit predatory, and I don't know. I don't know if I like it. It's a little bit
like Josh was saying. Most people can't just pull 60 grand out of their ass. Like, it just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Like you can get like a normal person, if you go get a credit card, they're gonna give you like a $10,000 or $15,000 limit, unless you're like some kind of fucking, you know what I mean? That's like a normal credit card amount. So how the fuck did you get 60 grand? Like I don't know. That's hard to me. I mean, I'm sure it's possible, but like it just seems
maybe it's something in the UK, because I mean I don't think you could do it.
I'm just saying, like
here.
in America, if like you don't have that much money to begin with, it's gonna be hard to. I mean, I guess you could open like 10 different credit cards, but like I don't know. It just
I don't think you have even. I think you'd have to earn a 15, even if it was just let's just say hypothetically, you'd have to earn a $15,000 to $20,000 credit. Like I have good credit, I don't have a credit that I can take that much money out on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can't do it. Like how did it happen? Unless like what Matt's saying, like the UK or sorry, Wolf said, the UK is different. Like you can't. Your bank won't let you overdraft that much money.
I mean, maybe he had the money, but like it was just all his money. I don't know if he opened up like credit lines or, maybe he had 62K, but like he only had 62K. I don't know. I have no idea.
Strange, yeah.
Yeah, just I don't know. Like I feel like if you make that mistake, you're on your own. Because like even if you're a kid or like you have a mental illness, to like spend that much money. If you have a mental illness and you can make that much money to just blow it on a video game, like
Good point. That's a good point.
Great
I didn't put those.
I-
I didn't put those two together. That's true.
You know what
Am
I
I
mean? Like,
doing
there's no kid that can spend 60 grand. I'm sure their parents would be like cutting them off before they got to 60 grand. You know what I mean? You spend a couple $100, your parents would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I mean, the article
And then,
here
like-
says, I'm sorry, significant financial harm. What's that even really mean? I mean, he could have had.
He
like
had to
Matt
just
said-
rack shit up on credit cards
Yeah.
or something. I don't know.
This
That's
guy
it, like,
just
the
opened
whole
10
thing-
credit cards just to play RuneScape.
RuneScape.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Free to play game, but I wonder what his character stats were like. They must have
Iron Man legend.
That's a great question. Actually, he had to have been number one, right?
You would hope.
Better
was
be.
number one.
If he
Alright.
wasn't, man. What's that say about your game if you can pour $62,000 into it and not be the best?
What's that say about your game if you even can spend $62,000?
It's free.
But I feel like at some point, like, haven't you already got?
Well, and like, okay,
where's the limit, right? It's like if you
to
spend
spend
$1,000
that much
on a
money,
game-
do you know how long it would take to like open all the shit that you bought?
well,
That's
he's
like
still
a-
opening. He's still opening to this
Oh,
day.
God.
Yeah,
That's
he
like
has
a full-time fucking job. If you got to open all that shit for 62 grand, what you'd be there for a fucking year.
How about the interest? It's like a freaking mortgage.
He
Oh,
should have just
fuck, I don't know.
streamed it all. Then he would have recouped all that money. He would have had
Yeah.
some kind of following
Yeah.
watching him.
Now
open
that-
Oh
all
yeah,
that
if your
stuff.
Twitch title is $62,000 spent on microtransaction on RuneScape, you're gonna have a bazillion viewers
Yeah.
to watch your stupid ass fuck it up.
Well, now
I
with
watched
this new Twitch affiliate program, the affiliates get ad revenue now. They get $3.50 per 1,000 viewers. So
Mm.
Whoa,
you got to
that's killer.
think you're racking in what, 7, 10.50?
Damn, dude.
I mean,
An
you're really-
hour or a day.
No, like a month.
Oh, a month.
We're
Golly.
All right.
gonna talk about that next week. We're gonna talk about
Get
that.
me out of
next week.
RuneScape. Get me out of here.
Mike, Dave.
Beam me up.
All right. Fortnite revenue has plummeted 52% year over year. I thought this was pretty interesting. The Battle Royale still absolutely dominates the rest of the competition. Apex, PUBG, Black Ops 4. They're all like kind of very similar at the bottom, and Fortnite is way above them. However, there has also been data showing that repeat customer spending is down across all games of this format. They're really struggling to keep players spending and just coming back and playing the game. So I guess just what do you guys think of this news? And we've talked about Fortnite like being this giant, the epitome, like the gold standard of a free to play revenue model like this. Like what are the factors for this decline? Is it not enough new features, or players getting tired of playing the same game?
I think it's just natural for new games to like really spike at the beginning while they're getting popular, and like that's just like the natural life cycle of a game, right? Like a lot of games, you make a lot of money when it first comes out, and it's like all hyped up. Like after a year, like people, get tired of doing the same thing and they go play other things. I think it's just natural for games to really spike in popularity and then have drop offs later on because like the hype dies down and people get tired of playing the same game. They want to do other shit. I think it's natural. I think that happens to a lot of games, most games.
I hope it goes down even faster than this. This battle pass, battle chess market is horrible, man.
Yeah. Battle
That's
bitch.
probably why it's going down.
Like,
Because
you don't
everyone's
even
tired of the model.
you don't even get to keep it. half
I've
the
been
time.
I've been putting in 10 grand a day, but I can't keep the sales up. I don't know what to do.
RuneScape stealing all the customers.
Is that what it is?
At least the big one.
12D chess here. What if it was actually because Ninja went to Mixer and now the game is just nobody knows how to,
That was
play the
it.
game. Nobody cares anymore.
Even better.
Good. Yeah.
Even better.
It was a
Get
baby
outta
game
here.
for babies, and all the babies grew up, so no one's playing the game anymore.
I think that
Excuse me,
Fortnite specifically, I think that they tried to market to too big of an audience. I think the game got watered down. Like they were marketing to like 8-year-olds and 28-year-olds like all at the same time. And there's not many games that can do that. Maybe like just Minecraft is like the only game that has ever been able to do that successfully for a long period of time.
Minecraft.
Did they even market?
No.
I swear people just buy the fucking game. Like, I'm sorry.
No. I'm not even saying market. I'm just saying
Yeah.
like the game is built around like trying to be accessible to all parties. It's like supposed to be that family friendly, but like also it's super competitive. Well, how the fuck does that work, Fortnite? Like you can't be both. And they're trying to be both, and they've been like juggling that line for a while. I just don't think you can do it forever.
They did a
You
really
can't
good
be
job.
like the Disney of video games and the John Wick of movies. I mean, it doesn't mesh. Or the John Wick of video. Why did I say movies? And the John Wick of video games. Sorry. You can't be the Disney of video games and the John Wick of video games.
How old is the game now?
Fuck me.
What?
3 years?
3 years probably.
Well, Matt and I
Yeah.
debated this. So hold
It's
on.
like 2 years. It's like 2 years. Yeah. I don't want to get into it again.
You're wrong.
I don't know, Nick. What are all the kids playing these days?
I think
but-
everyone's back to Minecraft, and it's really making me happy because Minecraft is it's a game for everybody. Anybody can jump into it, as where Fortnite is specifically a game for just babies. And
I'm glad you agree.
Don't
Yeah.
take that, Nick. That's low key shade.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying Fortnite's a bad game. It's just a game for babies, and that's okay. That to each their own. You know?
Hey, I guess babies need games too. Yeah, I mean, they gotta play something, right?
It's that other baby game, Minecraft.
Hey.
No.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Incorrect.
A dedicated wham.
Yeah.
That's who shows up to the panel. Don't
Right.
tell me. I'm kidding.
That was back when Minecraft was cringe. It's cool now. Come on.
Yeah, PewDiePie's playing it now. It's cool.
Mhm.
Speaking of Minecraft, not to get off the subject, did anybody see the Middle Earth video that came out? Took them like 9 years. Made all
Yes.
of
Oh,
Middle Earth.
yeah.
Oh, it was amazing. My God. I got to give it to Minecraft for that, at least.
When you see those Minas Tirith builds that people do, like those are amazing. That's really a jaw dropper.
All right, that's it. That's all I got to say.
Okay. But
Let's talk about my favorite actor. I'm so glad they at 343 brought him on.
Oh, you know his work. You know his work.
yeah, I'm pretty familiar.
All right, 343 Industries. This is literally the best story of the year. It's unbelievable. It's I love it. 343 Industries has hired a pug to make alien noises and snorts for Halo Infinite. The pug's name is Gyoza, which is a Japanese pork dish. It just adds just a whole nother flavor to the story. Pork to be exact. But there are videos up of the pug. He's working, he's acting, in which you can hear his grunts and really see the actor get into the mindset of an alien race. There's been speculation in the community that this could be a new alien species released just for Halo Infinite, as it really doesn't sound very Covenant-like. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I thought it was great.
Where's the sound bite? I need a sound bite.
Yeah, that's something we need to work on, is getting sound bites.
So my question is, when they say they hired a pug, does the pug get a paycheck? And if
Yeah.
so, does the pug have a bank account?
Yeah, he gets
And
paid
then-
in kibbles and
then-
bits.
Does
Is
the
the
pug,
pug married?
does the
He has
pug
a
have to
name,
pay
Dave.
taxes? There's a lot of questions I have.
I would hope he's paying taxes.
Or like, is there like, or does a pug's owner just like get to benefit off his work, kind of like slavery or indentured servitude?
Is the
I
pug an
wanna-
American citizen, or is it Japanese?
Yeah.
Hey, I would have
I have-
answered that.
I have infinite
Do they have
questions.
their
We can talk about
workman's
this for a week.
visa? Can they actually?
Just
If I
even
had-
thinking about this for a week, dude.
No, I could ask questions about this for a week.
If I
There's
had
so
a
many
pug,
questions.
I'd be answering this ad. For sure.
Well,
Give me a
I'll
name.
tell you what, there's a lot of dogs getting into the market, because I just read that they just hired a real corgi to play Ein in the Cowboy Bebop live action film. Yeah, so there's some
how
pets
couldn't
coming into
they?
play here.
Dog equality. I love to see that.
Dog equality. Yeah, we're gonna get everybody all fired up.
Yeah, next thing you know, there's gonna be a fucking dog mayor or a dog senator or some shit.
Well,
We're trending in that direction.
we're not in uncharted waters here. I mean, look back to the greats like Beethoven and Air Bud. I mean,
I
they're.
loved Airbud.
I'm sure that you could check out their payroll, what they were getting per movie.
What about Shamu?
Shamu.
There's a lot there.
Mm-hmm.
What about Binks from
Star Wars.
What's that movie with the witches
Jar
and
Jar
the
Binks.
black cat? Help me out, McNeil. I know.
Sabrina? Hocus Pocus?
Hocus Pocus. Thank you.
Mr. Bigglesworth
Yeah.
from Austin
What-
Powers.
That's
Yeah.
it.
You also have Shrek.
There you go.
What about Homeward Bound? That was a good one. Anybody remember
Oh,
I
Homeward
was
Bound?
just
Ah,
thinking
yeah,
of
that was a
that.
lot of animals all the time.
Mhm.
This pug better be a companion, not like an enemy. I want an alien companion pug that follows you around the entire
Oh,
game.
that would be awesome.
That's a great idea.
Come, Gyoza. We must activate the ring.
Out of here. Oh my god.
That'd be
All right. Let's wrap the show there. That was pretty good. We hit a lot today. A little something for everybody.
Thanks for hanging, V.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. If you haven't seen Nick's work, please check out his YouTube channel. It's V Phantom. And Nick, I believe the Twitter is just V Phantom as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's at VPhantom3 if you're looking for that handle.
Okay, at V Phantom 3. Yeah, honestly, his videos are really funny. He's been playing a lot of, and his older stuff is Siege. And you get some VR stuff as well. There's a lot going on there. But thank you so much for listening. We really, really appreciate it. Feels good to be back in the swing after Japan. And watch the live videos on YouTube. Give us an iTunes review if you think of it. Really helps us out. And we'll see you next week.